to our Quilt of Memories series where we are making this lovely little quilt behind me week by week, a block at a time. Believe it or not, we're more than halfway through our quilt at this stage. Today we're going to make the Flying Geese, which is this lovely one, the stripe across the middle of our quilt. You can see it here in this one as well. It's probably a little clearer in this one because there's more of a contrast. But it's called Flying Geese. You can have your flying geese flying up, you know, to the side. You can see why it's called Flying Geese, really. It's just made up of three triangles. You have a large one in the center and two small ones at each side. Again, it's a lovely simple block to make. I'm going to show you how to make. There's lots of different methods of making the flying geese. We look at a fairly simple one today. But this block, you know, this little patch can be used again and again. You'll see it again and again in all the different quilts that you look at. It's a good one to have in your repertoire. So we'll just go ahead and get started. So in the Country Living magazine this week, I asked you to cut out two stripes. I'm not going to do any cutting today, but when you have your two strips cut, I want you to subcut those then into rectangles. So one strip was 6.5 inches wide from what I can remember, and I want you to cut those again into 3.5 inch pieces. So I just have a little bundle here that I'm going to go ahead and work with. And the other strip I asked you to cut then was 3.5 inches wide. And again, if you could cut that strip, subcut that strip into 3.5 inch squares. Again, I have a little bundle there. As I say, I'm not going to do any cutting this week just because it takes up so much time, and we've done a lot of the cutting already. So to make our flying geese, we have our squares and our rectangle. So just on the smaller square, I'm going to draw a line again from corner to corner. So I just need to get my ruler. Okay, and just draw from corner to corner using your pencil. Here we are. So there we are on the lighter fabric. So, and this time we're going to sew on the line. Anytime we've done it up to now, we've sewn each side of the diagonal line, but for this little patch, we're going to sew on the line. I've all those marked already. That's great. Okay, just get rid of my ruler and sit down. So I'm going to take my rectangle, and I'm going to put one of the smaller ones right sides together and just lay it on the corner like that. And if you're not happy about going ahead and sewing all the way down, just stick a pin in it halfway through like this. So we'll go ahead and sew that. Turn on my machine. There we are. So this time, as I said, we're actually sewing on the line that I have marked with my pencil, corner to corner, and take it out of the machine. And I'm just going to bring it over to the ironing board at this stage, and I'm going to cut away where I sewed cut away one edge from the line. So just literally take your scissors and cut about 1/4 inch. And that's just wastage. We're going to lay that to one side, and then press your seam and iron your seam back. And that's one side. You can almost see now where I'm coming from, can't you? That's one half of our flying geese made. Then just get your other square, lay it down corner to corner. Okay, and again, if you want to, you can use a pen just to hold them together. And I'm going to sew these down. So again, we're sewing actually on the line this time. Down to the end. Take it out of the machine, and I'm going to use my scissors, and I'm going to cut away one side of the triangle about 1/4 inch. it over to the iron board, press it and turn it back. And that's one unit made, one little flying goose made. And I want you to keep an eye out for the top here. You can see where my triangle kind of goes into a narrow head. And there's a little bit of blue fabric on the top, and you need that there because that's your 1/4 inch seam when you're adding all your pieces together. That will be your 1/4 inch seam. So I'll just go ahead and make 2 more of these, and then we'll sew them together and we'll see what I'm making up. So we're making flying geese. Again, your square on your corner, and my line is going from here to here. So I'm sewing. Get my foot right. There we are. Take out the machine. Press it. Take your scissors and cut away one side of it. Then just lay our other square down. Get rid of that there. Okay. Now if you don't, if you haven't all your blocks made, as I was saying before, we're halfway through our quilt at this stage. If you don't have all your blocks made today, don't worry, because you can always check back with the magazine where all the instructions and the measurements and the directions are, and also you can watch the video that's on the website. It's there, you know, you can go back at any time and finish your quilt. So here we are. Just going to press it, cut it away. Now there is a bit of wastage with this method of flying geese. I chose this method because it's lovely and simple, and you know, it's quick and it's easy. There are other methods, you know, where there is no wastage, but just for the purposes of this little quilt, because it is a beginner's quilt, the simpler it is, the better really. I'm just going to stick with 2, I think. I've made 2. And again, I have the little top here. You can see the triangle is kind of forming a little arrowhead, and there's a tiny piece of the blue at the top, and that's for our 1/4 inch seam. So I'll put the 2 pieces together. You see what I mean? So just lay them down, one on top of the other. We're going to sew across the top. Now if you like, you can put a pin there to make sure that I'm just going to do that again. So lay them down. This is the way we want our flying geese to be. So just lay them down in the direction that you would like them to be, and then take the top one and bring it down just like this. And I like to sew on this side, so when you're taking your 1/4 inch seam, you can just see the top of your flying geese there. Just sew over the top. Okay. Now my fabric is just caught in the machine. Take it out and start again. There we are. There's 2 of our flying geese. I'm just going to press that. And when you're pressing your flying geese, have all your seams going in the same direction. So just going to press it up like that. And that's 2 flying geese made. It's fairly, as you can see, it is simple. You know, you just have your large triangle and your 2 small ones, and you're working with a rectangle and 2 small little squares. Just keep putting them together. We need 8 of these. You'll have it made up in no time. That's your flying geese. We'll see you next week. Bye bye.